Hey guys, here's your last video for this unit. We're going to be talking about log properties and equations. So there's these properties here, 3 of them. There's one called the product rule, there's one called the quotient rule, and there's one called the power rule. So we're just going to use these to rewrite some different expressions. So this first one, we have the log of 6 times 11. Well, when we have log and two things being multiplied, we can rewrite that. In this case, it would be log of this first thing, 6, plus the log of the second thing. Okay, this video is all about just practicing those properties. Number 2, we have another multiplication one. We're going to take the log of that first thing plus the log of that second. Okay. The next one, we have some division happening, and then it's raised to a power. So, if we take a look up here, we have two different things. We have a quotient rule and we have a power rule. So, we need to rewrite some stuff. The first thing we're going to do is take care of the power. The power rule says it gets to go right out front. So this 5 is going to come out front. So we're going to do 5 times the log of this 6 over 11. And then the division rule says that when you have things being divided, you actually subtract them. You break them up with the log attached to each of them, and you subtract. So we'll leave this 5 out front all by itself for now. And we have the log of 6 minus the log of 11. Okay, and then one more step, we're going to distribute this 5. This 5 goes to this one, and it goes to this one. All right, we distribute it on in there. All right, next one, we have a multiplication with a power. Again, power, bring it out front. 2 times the log of A times B. The multiplication rule says we get to attach the log to both of those things and add them. So we have 2 on the outside. Log of A plus the log of B. Sorry, I should put those in parentheses. And then let's distribute that 2 just like we did in the last one. So we're going to have 2 times the log of A plus 2 times the log of B. Okay, a few more. This one, since this exponent's on the inside, we're going to take care of the multiplication part first, right? Because it's not out here, I can't just bring it out front. It's only attached to that 2. So we deal with the multiplication rule first. That says we can do log of 3 plus the log of 2 to the third. Now we can take this 3 and bring it out front. I'm going to do a different color. Let's see. Bring this 3 and bring it out front. So this log of 3 stays the same. And then this 3 comes out front, and then the log of 2. Same thing happens here. We have an exponent on the inside. It's only attached to that 2. So with the division, we'll take care of that first. Division says we can take the log of 2 to the 4th minus the log of 5. Bring the 4 out front of just this one. Oops, different color. 4 times the log of 2 minus the log of 5. Okay, again, I'm going through this video kind of fast, so if you need to pause it, go ahead and pause. This one, we have an exponent on the outside of our parentheses, so that we can move first. We're going to have 6 times the log of 6/5. The division rule says that we can separate, So the log of 6 minus the log of 5. And then we're going to distribute that 6. So we'll have 6 log of 6 minus 6 log of 5. Last one here, rewriting stuff. We have the log of x over y minus 6. Okay, again, that's y to the 6th power. Just the y is being raised to that 6th power. So let's take care of our division rule first. That says we get to subtract. Now let's bring that 6 out front. So log of x stays the way it is, minus 6 log of y. Now, the question is, do the properties work both ways? Well, the answer is yeah, they do. Right? If we have two logs being subtracted, how can I condense this? Well, when two things are being subtracted, I know that that's a division. So the log of this first one, 3, divided by the second one. What about this really long one? This really long one. We have log of 2 plus a log of 11 plus a log of 7. Well, what happens with those? Well, we know that the addition means that we had multiplication to begin with. So we can take the log out, just one of those, and then we'd have 2 times 11 times 7. And we can just leave it at that, right? I'm just focused on you rewriting some stuff. What about this one? We have division, and we have something written in front of our log. Well, we need to write this as, let's take care of this top one first. 2 log of 7. Well, that's saying we were taking the log of 7, the log of 7 squared divided by 3. And then, I'm sorry about that, guys. What am I doing? There's no log attached to this 3. No log attached to this 3. So we really have, this one's trying to trick you, and it tricked me, and I wrote the question. So, so we have 2/3 on the outside, and then log of 7. With that number being written on the outside, we really are bringing that, like that's 7 to that exponent, 2 over 3. Log 7 to the 2/3 power is how we would write that one. All right, just 3 more for this video, guys. 3 more. In your practice, you'll be solving some equations, like giving me a value. In these notes, we're just focusing on your rewriting. All right, so we have 2 log base 3s, and then they're being added. So that means we're going to be doing some multiplication. And then there's also that 6 out front there. There's a 6 out front for both of them. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go backwards of kind of what we did before. So we have 6 times the log base 3 of, we know it's u times v. And then the last part, we're going to get that 6 back where it belongs, right? It's out front right now. So to get it back to where it belongs, put it out to the side like that. These should be in parentheses. Right, because that's 6 applied to the u and the v. This one, the 6 is only applied to the v, and they're being subtracted. So we have the log of 4, and then it's u divided by, well, this 6 out front needs to go back up to by the v, divided by v to the 6. The subtraction told me I needed to divide. They both had log base 4, so that goes out front, and then the 6 was only applied to the v. Last one. And then I'm going to talk about a few rules, just for you to know. This one again, we've got that 2 only being applied to the 12. They both have the same log, so we put the log out front. They're being subtracted, so I'm going to divide 12 squared. Okay, that's it for rewriting. Let's talk about some other properties that are good for you to know. The log base b of 1 is equal to 0. Well, that makes sense, right? Because anything raised to the 0 power is 1, right? So these are interchangeable. And then we have the log base b of b is equal to 1. Well, that makes sense too, right? Because if we rewrite that in exponential form, b to the first power is still going to be b. And then, a couple more here. If the log base b of m is equal to the log base b of n, well, then your m and your n are the same. That makes sense, right? Because your log base b of some number has to be equal to the log base b of some other number. Like, it can't be a different number. Your m and your n, those two numbers, have to be the same. Another one, log base b, so whatever that base is, of a negative number is just undefined. Your calculator will tell you. And then log base b of a 0 is also undefined. Okay, that is it for this unit, guys. So let me know if you've got any questions at all.